I'm Ashley.
And I'm Ethan.
And welcome to Game on Board Game, a channel where we talk about board games and do fun games and challenges based on our love for them.
If this is your first time watching our channel, welcome. We like to focus, like Ashley just mentioned, on doing different types of board game related challenges. And one we've had going throughout the course of this whole year is we challenge ourselves to try to play every single board game in our collection.
Right.
So in this video, we're going to give our latest progress update on how that challenge is going, talking about some of the games that we played in the month of April.
Yes.
Now, not necessarily like a comprehensive thing of everything that we played, but what were we able to actually check off the list towards that accomplishment for the year, right?
Mm-hmm. We have been doing monthly wrap-ups every single month, so if you would like to, you can go back and watch our other monthly wrap-ups for January, February, and March.
Now, April was a lighter month for us.
Mm-hmm.
We only checked 7 games off of the list. However, for the year, we're still above pace.
Mm-hmm.
So we're feeling pretty good. And actually going into the month, we kind of knew that was going to be the case anyway.
Right. So this month, part of the reason that it was a little bit lighter was we decided to play a campaign game. And we're going to talk about Arkham Horror.
Yes.
So this is Ethan's favorite game. And Ethan is basically always in at least one, if not many games and many campaigns of Arkham Horror. But we wanted it to be where he and I actually played Arkham Horror.
Correct. Yeah, I've been playing it throughout the year, but we haven't checked it off the list yet until Ashley got a chance to participate as well.
Correct.
Now, this is also the newest campaign that just came out. So it was very, top of mind and fresh and exciting. And we spent a good, probably 2 weeks out of the month or whatever going through this, which is a good pace. But obviously that ate up the time that we could have been playing other games.
Correct.
Right? And in fact, before we dived into the Drowned City, we had a lingering couple scenarios left from a previous campaign of the Scarlet Keys that we also had to bust out.
We could have just left off with only Scarlet Keys, but this one, given that it was new and exciting, we did want to try that together. So Arkham Horror is a living card game where you are building a deck for an investigator that you're playing, and then you are walking through a campaign that has different scenarios, and then for each scenario there are different objectives, and you're trying to get really just work together as best as you can. It's a cooperative game, and you want to really just beat the entire campaign, and each scenario has its own challenge for you to come across. You're, as a general rule, you're kind of investigating and finding clues, or you're battling monsters and evildoers that come up. Yep.
And you get to progressively evolve your deck throughout the course of the campaign by upgrading into better cards as you gain experience throughout the scenarios, which is one of my favorite aspects of it. Yep. What did we think of either Scarlet Keys or Drowned City specifically, without getting too spoilery, because there is, a narrative element to these scenarios and to the campaigns where getting your first blind play where you don't know what you're getting in for is a big part of the experience, so we don't want to ruin any of that.
So I think just to sort of give a little bit of background, so Ethan has played every campaign, right? You're currently
I'm only halfway through the last one that would make me complete all of them, yeah.
Right, which is the Innsmouth campaign. I have played Dunwich and Edge of the Earth, Scarlet Keys, and Drowned City.
Yes.
Right, so I've done a decent amount of them. You've obviously played every single one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Scarlet Keys so far is my least favorite. And I think that you've kind of said that that's sort of generally that's not their favorite one.
I would say that's the majority opinion, but obviously there are standout people who really enjoy it as well on the other side.
That one, we also had the biggest gap in playing it. And so I feel partly that gap happened because I wasn't super interested in it. But also, I was kind of losing the thread of it as we were playing as well. So, a part of the game that I really enjoy is the storytelling aspect, and I just felt like Scarlet Keys didn't have that as much. I don't know the Drowned.
That's ironic, given that it has by far the most game text to read.
Sure, yeah. There were parts of it that I did really enjoy, in Scarlet Keys, without giving too much away. You're kind of exploring the world and going to different locations. Kind of felt like we're in the world as Carmen Sandiego type thing. And so I did like that, and that as a, gimmick, I guess, pulled me in and made me want to play it. But then I just think the way it played out, I wasn't catching that thread as well as I really wanted to.
It was not my first play of Scarlet Keys.
Right.
It was my third or fourth. But usually, you know, when Ashley wants to hop into a campaign with me, it's because something about the theme really grabs her. You know, so initially that Carmen Sandiego vibe was something that you're like really excited and hyped about.
Right.
It just kind of didn't live up to it for you.
Yeah.
It was my first play of the Drowned City, however, along with you, obviously.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, obviously this is really new, so we really don't want to give very much away with this. The big thing, though, is that, like, it takes place in Arkham, or kind of in Arkham, and Cthulhu is in it, which is, like, been a big, like, hype for this, because Cthulhu is, you know...
Yes, if you know the Cthulhu mythos or H.P. Lovecraft, any of that, you played any of the Cthulhu-related board games, the fact that they've gone almost 10 years, 10 campaigns now before actually bringing in the big bad himself, there was a lot of expectation put around this because of that, I would say.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
As it stands now for me, I don't think it quite lived up to the hype.
I agree.
I'm of the opinion that all Arkham is good Arkham. It is my favorite game. And I will certainly replay this. I'm already replaying it two-handed solo on my own, and I'll give it its due. And I reserve judgment, you know, until I really feel like I have a pretty strong handle on all the different campaigns as I go through them. But just, you do also get initial impressions, right? And knowing that, yeah, it's supposed to be an Arkham, and it's supposed to be based on like the Call of Cthulhu. It seemed right up my alley. But I didn't really get a lot of that as I was actually playing it.
Right.
And so the vibe just kind of felt like off, or maybe the way that it was presented and marketed kind of inaccurate and set certain expectations, you know, that fell short for me.
Obviously, we played it together. We played through the entire thing. But, like, at the end, I feel like we literally had a conversation where we were like, what happened in, like, most of this campaign? Like, we lost the story thread along the way. And I feel like that, to me, like, I really enjoy that story aspect. That's something that I've really, really enjoyed. I think Edge of the Earth has been my favorite, which is also maybe not a popular opinion, but I really like the story aspect of that one. And that was, like, the one that was the first one they released that, like, was put together as, like, a book, and that was, like, you know, written more like a story. And I just really, really loved that. That sort of brought me into Arkham.
That one gets big vibe points for me because it's based on the story At the Mountains of Madness, which might be my favorite of Lovecraft's works that I've read so far. I
think this time I got more into the deck building aspect than I ever have before, which was really fun.
I would agree. That's a huge part of the game as well. I think one of the reasons I've always latched onto it is, you know, my history with TCGs and just liking doing the deck building part of it, whereas that can be a hurdle for other people to try to get into the game. You know, it just adds more barrier to entry.
We both love Arkham. I enjoy it. I really enjoy playing with him. I think the reason that I don't play it maybe as much as him is it is such a commitment. And so it is, you know, like this month, I mean, we still played 7, honestly, which was really good. But I think, like, we didn't get to as many, and even, like, going into May, that affected, like, our May, I'm sure it'll affect our May numbers as well. Yeah. Just because it's a commitment to play an entire campaign. Super fun and enjoyable.
I agree, enjoyable just because fun. I got to play an Arkham campaign with you. This one maybe, you know, didn't deliver specifically, but nonetheless, like, you know, it wasn't enough to detract from
the overall experience.
The overall of just playing Arkham together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's jump into another game. So the next one we're going to talk about is Gloom, which we specifically have Fairytale Gloom. So we have that version of it. This is a game that I have had since before we were dating. Yes. I've had this a really, really long time. Yeah. And the main, like, idea of it is, so we're playing, because we're the fairy tale version, as, like, fairy tale characters, and you have a family. And then in your family, you are essentially trying to make them have, like, really bad days. Or, like,
well, you're actually, like, killing them.
Yes.
Right?
By giving them an unhappy ending. As miserable as possible.
And then giving them the worst death possible.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's an unhappy ending. You're ending their story with an unhappy ending.
I guess I take that to mean murder, but perhaps not.
Sure. And the point is, whoever has the most negative score wins. So you can either play cards on your cards, you can play cards on the other person's cards, and the cards are see-through. So like as you stack them, it will cover certain icons or make certain icons appear or make certain points appear. And so you kind of want to like play on yours, but then also play off of the other person's as well. So this is one that we've had a really long time. Honestly, we haven't played it in a long time. So this was kind of like, I think, a great excuse for us to bring out a game that we haven't played in a really long time that we used to play very often when we like...
I guess I don't remember it being that often, but this might have been one of the first like 2 or 3 games we ever played together.
Yes.
It's definitely like a silly, light type of game, you know, so it makes sense to me why it's not like in a regular rotation for us or anything.
Yeah.
What did you think after not playing it for so long and having experienced so much more of the world of board gaming and grown as a gamer and everything in the interim? Like, how did it land for you?
I still did really enjoy it. I also remember that, like, I don't think you've ever beat me at this game ever.
Yes.
And that came through this time too. Like, I don't know what it is about this game, but you like can't wrap your head around it or something. I think that there's a balance of like how often you play on someone else's versus playing on your own characters and when you end your character. Because you have to choose like when you put that unhappy ending on them.
But if you haven't drawn any of those cards.
But I think like the problem that you sort of run into is you like keep them alive a little too long. And at the end of the game, only the characters who have died count towards your overall score.
Right.
And so often what happens is like, I'll be like, they're good enough, and I'll end them. And you're like trying to get the perfect score or something, and then I'll throw a positive on top because you waited so long. And then it's like, well, now you're in trouble. So
this is fine, Ash. Have your moment, because I have a big win over you on one of your games this month too that we'll get to.
Yeah,
so.
Sure. All right. But anyway, I still enjoy it. I think it's really fun. I love the clear cards. Like any games with the clear cards, I think are super fun. And it's just silly. Like the cards all say something silly on it. It's just fun and like lighthearted. And I also like because it is Fairytale. It's like Fairytale themed. So yeah, I'll play this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that was the version that you like chose to pick up and everything back in the day. Some of these other videos that we've talked about, you know, other games that we've had for a long time or that we've been playing for like most of our board gaming hobby together and stuff. And how a lot of those have like a nostalgia or like sort of a couple cozy romance vibe. This isn't one of those for me.
No.
I don't know how, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it quite falls into that category. No. And so like for me, it's like I could really take it or leave it. It was enjoyable to play it, but if I never played this game again, I wouldn't think it was like a huge loss or anything either.
Oh, I get it. I think that like we have grown as gamers, but it's still just like, it's silly, fun, easy, quick to pull out. All right, so next we're gonna talk about Hocus Pocus. So in this game, you are playing against the Sanderson sisters. They have different powers, and you're trying to basically work together cooperatively to match. You're playing in like you're casting spells around like a circle, and you're trying to match.
It's like a cauldron.
Oh,
you're like playing ingredients into the cauldron.
Yeah, and you're trying to match the icons or make them all the same color or make them all the same ingredient, whatever it is, and then you like stun the witches, and once you stun them 3 times, you win. Mm-hmm. There's also like a Binks cat icon that can kind of help you, and then there's also some other cards that sort of like hurt your attempts.
This is not a very good game.
No.
And in fact, we've had it on our like culling pile, our chopping block multiple times, and then Ashley keeps like, let's give it one more go and see, and I don't know where it ended up after this round necessarily or anything, but it's just like...
It's a very light game. It's not as much of like a gamer game.
Yeah, it's not a gamer game. It's like a family game that you'd pick up and not really expect it to have like a solid rule set or like much to offer strategy-wise or anything like that. Although... it is very hard.
It is so hard.
Like, it is a challenge to win it, despite it
super
not
challenging
being much of a game.
Yes, it really is. It's very difficult to win. I know, like, every time we play this, we're shocked by how difficult it is. And I think that that's the thing that keeps, like, getting me to, like, pull it back out of the call pile. That I'm just like, we have to beat this game. I also just love, like, Halloween. I love Hocus Pocus. Like, all things Halloween, basically. So it's just like a themey thing for me, really, I think. But
didn't you get this at a garage sale?
I did.
Like $1 or something?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got our money's worth for $1.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But at this point, it's just kind of eating up shelf space and everything.
Sure.
Adding to our numbers of games we have to play for the year.
I don't know. It's still like fairly enjoyable. It's definitely, we've also played it with more people, and it's like definitely harder with more people too. But it's even harder with 2 people. Yep. Like, it's just a difficult game.
I think we did pull it out this time though, right?
What's that?
We won.
I think we did, yes.
We did win,
we did win. Yeah, it was a struggle, but yes. I think like the concept is not that hard, but the actual execution of it is very difficult.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is Welcome to Your Perfect Home. So this is a flip and write game where you are essentially building a neighborhood, and you are you have 3 streets that you're trying to fill in with house numbers. The house numbers have to be in ascending order. You have the numbers like 1 through 15, so you have to be kind of strategic to make sure you're like not putting numbers too far apart where you're not gonna be able to get those numbers in order. And then there's also like certain icons that you have. So you're putting like shrubbery in your neighborhood, or you're
building fences,
filling in pools. Yep. And then you get points at the end for like how many of those things you're able to accomplish. And then there's also like overall kind of like goals to try to achieve. So maybe it's like make 5 houses that are like 1 apart from each. And so you're kind of racing to see who can get those objectives first, those goals first, because you get more points. So it is like a fairly solitaire game where you're really playing like on your own board, except there is a little bit of player interaction as far as those like goals go, or you know, some of the icons, as I mentioned.
I suppose. I mean, it's natural for any sort of like roll and write, flip and write to be like pretty solitary. I wouldn't say this has as much interaction as like cartographers, where you're like trading the papers around and stuff.
Right.
You know, although I know you don't like that part of that game.
That's true.
You love this though.
I do. I love this game.
This has been a favorite of yours.
Oh,
even though you generally enjoy roll and writes, and you know that's sort of like a preferred genre of you, this one does seem like it stands out as well.
I really like this one.
You often just play it like on your phone as well, which you don't do with many games. And
so
you try to show it to so many people, where I think we talked about in another recent video that for whatever reason it seems like they just can't kind of get the hang of it.
I don't know if it's my explanation or what, but it just takes people a while to like wrap their head around it. I think by like kind of the middle of the game they sort of get it. It should be a fairly easy concept, but I don't know, maybe I'm just really bad at explaining it. I'm not sure. But it's just easy. It's like super like light and cozy, and you're just like filling in a neighborhood and you're trying to make the best neighborhood. There is like an app that I always use because I hate using papers. I always get really anxious about using our papers for any flip and write, roll and write game. Yeah. There are also like different versions of this game. So there's like Welcome to the Moon. There's like a Halloween version, a Christmas version, an Easter version. Okay. There's a whole bunch of them. This is the only one that we have and have actually played. So what do you think about this one?
I like this. Roll and writes are not my favorite overall, and I don't know if this is like my favorite one that we have, but I'm good with it. I also get you saying that it's cozy, but I also I do try to put quite a bit of strategy into this, I think that you do also, and like this month or whenever I get the opportunity to actually like pull out a victory over you, it feels like really good.
I know he's been pulling out victories for like games that I just play all the time. They're like some of my favorites. It's been really upsetting.
I think I had my best score ever of Welcome to this time, and it felt really good. Mm-hmm. I double checked his score because I needed to make sure. I think I have some new tactics down and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, even still, like, I enjoyed it. I don't care if I win or lose or whatever. Like, it's just such an enjoyable
it was just a fluke occurrence anyway.
So. Sure. Yeah, that's true.
I worked hard for that. I've been building up, over all these plays that you forced me into.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it's a great one. I would highly recommend it. It's also like you can play it with, we talked about this in another video, but like 1 to 100 people, because all you need are like those cards and then the boards.
I think the house numbering system gives it a bit of uniqueness over some other roll and writes too, where a lot of times you're just like, checking boxes or coloring in circle bubbles. Mm-hmm. Again, I mentioned cartographers. That one's pretty cool because you're making like the polyomino shapes and trying to like fit different terrain types together and stuff, which is unique as far as roll and writes that we've played as well. But I don't know, something about that in this one, there's a bit of like push your luck element almost to see if the numbers that you need are going to come up.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Okay, Splendor.
So this one, you are collecting different gems, and those gems help you like purchase cards, and you're basically trying to get to 15 points.
Yep.
And the first person who gets 15 points wins. There are nobles at the top that like you're trying to sort of compete to win those first before the other player. But you have to use like a certain number of gems or combination of cards and gems to purchase additional ones. And yeah, it's really just like a tableau building, like trying to...
It's an engine builder.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the like more cards you acquire, the easier it will become to acquire more cards. And then you can start building towards like the higher point value ones.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a good intro game. Because on your turn, you basically only have two choices. You're either going to like collect gems, which are essentially resource, or you're going to pay those resources into like purchasing cards.
Right.
So I often, you know, like to show this to like not super in-depth board gamer type of people. It was definitely a gateway game for me as well. One of the first I played that like really resonated and like seemed like it clicked in my brain and made me like want to do some board gaming and stuff. So I had played it like originally, like, I don't know, with just like a friend who happened to have it a couple years before Ashley and I got together. But then once we did, and she started like, you know, introducing and pushing more board gaming and stuff, my birthday came around that year. And I think this was like the first game that like you bought for me, like to add to sort of like our collection.
Yeah.
Right. So this has always been like a big hit for me, and it still is.
This is one that you like brought to me.
Yeah.
That you kind of taught me, which I had never seen before. I really enjoy it. I feel like it's not that hard of a concept, but it is very hard to like do well. And we had like a real like battling back and forth this gameplay too. It was a really good game. Yeah. Like I feel like I was like you just squeaked it out. I was so mad because I was ahead the whole time.
Perfect. I don't think I had like a spare gem.
No.
Like it was exactsies.
Yeah. He just beat me.
Well, I won by like 2 or 3 points because I could get the card, but it was like my last opportunity to get it and it had to be like perfect.
You just had it, work out perfectly.
But this isn't sort of like, I don't know, the Azul world, it feels like. It's sort of like just abstract, like strategy game that again is like fairly beginner friendly, but also like can be vicious, especially at 2-player where, you know, maybe you're like trying to block the other person and stuff. We
really enjoy it. It's one that, you know, it's a classic one that we've played really the whole time we've been together, and I think every time we pull it out we still enjoy it. It's also like it's not that long, so I feel like it doesn't take a lot to like, it's not a lot of investment when we do it either.
So basically no setup.
Yeah.
Shuffle a couple decks.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So it's like one that's easier to table than other games too, which I appreciate that.
We often like to play those like out on our back patio because like the gems are like basically a heavy kind of poker chips that other than a couple cards, like nothing's going to get blown away or disrupted or dirty or anything, right? So yeah. It's good.
It's a good one. So this is Back to the Future Back in Time. I think there are some other Back to the Future games. This one, you're playing as characters from Back to the Future. And you're trying to accomplish basically the things that they had to do in the movie. So you're trying to get the DeLorean, which is the car, to a certain location. So that way it can like take off. And then you're trying to get the love meter up with George and Lorraine to like make them fall in love. And then you have to get different like parts to fix the DeLorean before you're able to actually move the DeLorean. Yeah, it feels like the movie. Piece, yeah. It's good as far as like IP games go. It captures it pretty well. So it's a dice game. Yes, it's a dice game. Which was a big hurdle for me at first. Yes. I just like tend to have issues with dice rolling. You tend to roll terrible. It doesn't matter what game we're playing. If it's a dice game, your rolls are awful. Yeah. There are a lot of people who's like, I just have terrible dice luck or whatever. Like, I don't think that my variance is actually like any, worse than average or whatever, but it just doesn't seem like I make it work very well. I disagree. That's not a thing. It is a thing. It's not a thing. It is. It is for us. It is. Okay. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just very lucky with my rolls. I don't know. But okay, that's a thing. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, this one, you're playing as one of the characters, and then you're trying to achieve these objectives as fast as possible. There's also different obstacles that come out that you have to try to work around, and then there's like Biff, who's like the bully, and he's kind of trying to like knock you down the whole time. And he's good at it. Oh, he is. Biff is the worst. He's the worst. Yeah, I think this game like is very difficult to win. It's a cooperative game. We're working together, and I feel like it took us a while to win it when we first started playing. And this last time, we lost terribly. Like, I don't think it's just time. I think it was just we were nowhere near any of the objectives. We were just, I don't know, we could not accomplish anything. We definitely have won.
There,
Yeah, we definitely have won this one, but it's one of those games that is more challenging to beat.
Overall, again, we've had this one for a number of years. We've probably played it a dozen times at least. Sub 50% win rate, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's not like so hard. Other cooperative games like Horrified or something, I feel like there's some similarities, in how the mechanics work and everything. Horrified's definitely easier than like this to win, right? Which is a nice challenge still, Even again, after we've been playing it many times over the years, and again, like presumably gotten better at games and more strategic, and like kind of learned the inner workings of like how to go about like gaming the game. It still just gets you sometimes, so that's good.
It does, yeah. And a lot of times it is just because those rolls.
Biff is just a jerk.
Biff is. He's awful.
The best part of this game is that like it's just entered our general vocabulary and our lexicon to like when we goof up or something, just say you done biffed it.
Sure. I love this one. I really enjoy it. I know that I think you don't like this one as much as I do.
I don't know that anyone likes it as much as you do.
Sure.
Like you like this one.
I do really like this one. Yeah.
And I guess it's another one that you have like associations with between us and everything too.
Yes.
That adds to that.
Yeah. I think we played this for the first time right after we got engaged, and we played it a lot. And so we had it with us, and it also has that love, I don't know, aspects because you're working the love meeting.
Yeah, you're trying to make your parents fall in love again. Sure, makes sense. It's great that board games can have that sort of stuff.
They give you
the same way that any other media, your favorite books or movies, you associate them with a certain time and place in your life or something. Or board games can create those sort of bonded core memories as well. Yeah, bring people together. Yeah, beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think that's something that probably has made me like this one even more so than I would have. I feel like you enjoy it decently when we are playing it. It's just not one that you would gravitate toward to pull out all the time.
Correct, yeah. Especially given that I think we've kind of gotten our run of it, plenty.
I still just, I just really enjoy it. It's a good one.
I feel like this month in particular, I'm down on a lot of these things, and I don't really mean to be, except for Hocus Pocus. That can get out of here. But this is good. It's just, not my favorite, and we've played a lot of it, so I just like to get some variety going.
I think also something that we did after we played this initially was we watched all the Back to the Future movies as well, so that was kind of fun. I like IP games because sometimes they'll inspire you to watch the movies, or vice versa too, which is kind of fun. So
as far as IP games go, cut above Hocus Pocus, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
This is a real board game.
Yeah, it also is way more themey.
All right, ending with a big boy. Anachrony. This is a Mind Clash game, a worker placement game with an interesting theme where you're playing in kind of a post-apocalyptic future, and there are different factions or paths, as they're called in this, that are trying to vie for dominance and be sort of the path that will lead humanity into the future further. The interesting thing about this is there is a time travel aspect where as you're placing your workers and accumulating different resources, you can borrow resources from your future self as well.
You also have an event happen where it sort of speeds the game up potentially.
Yes, so at the end of the fourth round out of potentially 7 total, there's going to be an asteroid impact. Because again, you're able to sort of see into the future and predict that. So it's something that you're planning around all game because, yes, it's going to change how the board operates and put a timer on certain spaces, as you mentioned. It's going to change your opportunity to score points. It's going to essentially kind of unlock your faction leaders, special victory scoring condition, all these sorts of things. It's a big centerpiece thematically and gameplay-wise, for sure. Right. I was intrigued about this game initially because I was really looking for worker placement games with a unique twist to them. Another one that had caught my eye was Zolk and the Mayan Calendar, which we don't have. I did get to play a friend's copy and thought that was really cool. But the way that the different gears rotate around and change like the timing of your worker placement. I thought like, oh, that's a good gimmick, right? This one has the gimmick. In order to travel to certain worker placement spots on the board, you need to place your worker into an exosuit to protect them from the hostile environment. You need to, at the beginning of your round, power up a certain number of exosuits that you think you're going to want to use based on planning out your turn. However, since there's multiple players like competing over these spaces, if your plan gets interrupted by somebody else placing a worker in your way, you potentially like wasted resources powering up those exosuits that you might not be able to use.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of the twist. And then also, again, the borrowing resources from the past and needing to use certain worker placement spots to actually be able to like travel and repay those resources that you borrowed from yourself and all that. Right. It's just like, that's a cool gimmick.
Yeah.
This kind of thing. I think it has a reputation for like being very challenging and maybe like that puts some people off of it. But we actually think it makes sense.
Yeah.
It is still like deep and thinky and it can take a little while. So it doesn't hit the table like too often or anything. As far as worker placement games go, it's pretty unique, and I know that there is like good lore into the world building and everything of it too, although like that's not as top of mind for me anymore as like when we were first playing it. But I don't know, this play of it just didn't quite hit for me as much either.
So this play of it was very long. Like, yeah, I mean, I think something that like did affect our time for sure was that like we basically played 3 other rounds because I didn't end it. Like you kind of expected me to. But like for like the objectives that I had, I was like, if I don't end it, I think I will 100% win. I just like, you know, had other things I could do to get more points, and you kind of didn't have things to do. So
right, there was basically like 3 spaces on the board that I figured she's got to hit at least one of these, and I had the other 2 covered. And if all 3 get hit, that would trigger the end of the game for that round, where I was ahead. And so that was my plan. Is I kind of like blew my load early into getting like as much as I could in that given round, assuming that like, yeah, she's got to go to at least one of these places, right? And then you just didn't somehow.
right.
And I only had 2, and I couldn't cover the third one myself. So then we played on, but I was just kind of out of steam at that point, whereas you got to like keep building.
Yeah.
And so it was a good win for you. But that did add to the time, obviously, because it was extra rounds. And
I will say those rounds went the fastest, though. Like, they were pretty quick.
Sure.
But, so I don't think I added, like, I added a whole other hour because I did that, but...
No, part of it in general also is just, like, yeah, we did take some long turns of just kind of, like, staring, thinking, pausing, right? Maybe a little bit of analysis paralysis or just strategizing or whatever, but like that's fine. It's that type of game. Yeah.
I also think like the type of people that would play this game are going to be heavier gamers that like may think more about their turns and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, where are you at on this game?
Another thing related to the time that affects my enjoyment is it's also a beast to set up. There's just like a lot of little stuff in this game, and you don't really know like how to go about setting it up, so that's on me.
Right.
So just knowing that like it's going to be a big mental commitment, it's probably going to take a while, the setup is a pain, makes me like not actually get it to the table, or not like push to get it to the table as much as I probably would like to or originally thought that I would have. And this is only going to get played if I am the one pushing for it.
Right.
Right. So if I'm thinking that like I don't even know if it's worth doing that a lot of the time, and I'm picking other things when I kind of get a chance to like opt for a game, that might be a sign that like maybe this one doesn't have like a great place for us or something, you know?
Yeah, I think that like we both really enjoy it as we're playing it. It's just the like hurdle of getting it there.
If we're gonna sign up for that experience, maybe I'd rather play like Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah.
Or like get into an Arkham campaign or something, right? Like,
sure.
You know? So it's just like kind of the higher barrier to entry you have, the more competitive it is to get in.
Right.
And is this going to be that top tier one that like beats out all the other competitive options? Probably not.
Probably.
Like I do like it. I think it's good, but I don't love it enough to push for that extra like I don't know, energy or whatever to get over the hurdle a lot of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, that wraps up April. Be sure to come back in a month for our May overview. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better, but we'll have to see how things shake out, right?
Yeah. We're at 51 games.
Yeah, so with these 7, it brings our total of the year so far to 51 out of the 135 that we need to play, which is still above pace for us, so we do have a little bit of wiggle room. You know, we'll see. But maybe we'll dive into another campaign game or something, who knows. That'll eat up some time. In the description down below, you can find a link to a spreadsheet where we have our board game collection listed out, and we're doing our tracking of when we play things and actually check them off the list that you can follow along with in real time to see how we're doing.
If you've played any of these games, let us know like where you're at on the games. You know, do you kind of agree with some of our opinions on them and, you know, how much we enjoy them, or do you, you know, enjoy them more or less than we do? Love to hear.
If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our other progress updates, be sure to like and subscribe. That way you'll catch all the videos.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Game on.
Game on.